Hi guys, so this next video is going to be kind of a teach you how to do it yourself kind of piece of goals analysis slash clean sheet analysis. So if you're trying to find some value in the goals and assist dividends, this is how I would go about doing it. So it's kind of a do it yourself guide for how you could do that. So first off, if you come into the master data file, come into the team master data, and basically filter on the date range that you want. So you're going to want basically the next 30 days. So for this, I've basically taken all of January and I'll take the first day of February, and that should give me my 30 days. This will give me all the games here. So basically what I want to do is copy all the home teams, bring them over into my open file and put them in column A of the matches, and then go down to the bottom. And then I want to basically take all of the away teams as well. So I've got all the games there basically. You can then also come into the Europe Master. So this is all the European games. Do the exact same thing. So you just want to stick a filter across the top here. And you want to say, right, clear all of those. I want... Okay, so there's no games in January. There's not until February, so I'm going to exclude those. But you could just say, I want those February games if you were doing February. So that would give you all of those games basically. You then come back into the sheet, and then you're going to want a few columns here. I'm going to go through these one at a time, but obviously you want your player name because that's going to be one of your main fields, how you decide who you want to use. So come into your summary tab, basically take all the players' names through, just replace player name like that. We're then going to want their position because defenders and midfielders and forwards earn different amounts for goals. We then want their team, and that's because we're going to do a little lookup to see how many games they've got in the time period. We want their current buy price. Now, just a quick reminder that you're going to want to double check this because the prices change rapidly. The data is obviously only updated once a week, so these prices aren't necessarily going to be exactly where they are, so just double check those before you go and buy people, but it should still be pointing you in the right direction of value and still be of a lot of use. So you want your starts and your sub appearances, and you then want your goals and clean sheets, as these are the things that decide where you got some money. Let's just quickly, that clean sheet one just needs to be copy and paste special values. There we go. Right, so then we get on to commission. So commission is basically a formula we're going to type in. So we're going to basically say equals D3 times 0.02. And that's basically your 2% commission. Select cell, double click in the bottom corner here, and that will drag it all the way down to the end of your data for you. We then want to work out this month's game. So that's a equal count if, and then the range is basically column A in our matches thing, and then our lookup value is essentially the club for the players. Again, just double click that, that will drag that all the way down to the end. We then want to say if it's goalkeepers we're looking at, work out our clean sheets per game ratio. So what we want to do is say equals clean sheets divided by starts. Now, you could add in you won't add in subs for the clean sheets because obviously you wouldn't get a clean sheet if you're a sub, but for the goals you might want to add in the sub appearances as well, or not, it's up to you. What we can then do is take that ratio and say equals that ratio times this month's games, and that effectively gives us our expected clean sheets for that goalkeeper in that time frame, which we can then work out as our expected returns. So the clean sheets times 0.01, so 1 penny a clean sheet, and that will give us our expected returns. And then lastly, we want to take our expected returns away from our commission to see if there's actually a profit there. So next we want to filter on goalkeepers only because obviously only they own the clean sheet bonus. And then we'll come back over here and have a look at our total price column, and there's some small profit to be had potentially here. Now, so these are some goalkeepers that you might want to look at if you were thinking about it. Now, you can instantly discount some of these because these guys are in here basically because they've had very few appearances. So you want to get rid of that Andre Lunin, you want to get rid of Emilio Martinez. you got to be careful and think about exactly. So, okay, there's 4 games for Legans this month, but is Andre Lunin going to be playing them? Well, he's had 1 start this season, so odds are not, unless the other keeper's just been injured. However, say your Fernando Pacheco at Alaves, he's got about a 30-40% hit rate on clean sheets. He's had a good number of games, and he's only got 1p commission, so he might actually be worth it, because he might, get you a 1p profit in that period if you wanted to look at that with the commission. Now, it's important to bear in mind again that would only be if you were selling at the current buy rate, and the buy rate's the same. It would expend on a number of different things, but this is a very small number of game months, so there's generally between 2 and 4 games being played this month by all the teams. There will be other months where you might have 5, 6, 7 games. Now, those are the months you really want to target for clean sheets and goal dividends, because that's when you're getting your maximum returns in a concentrated period. I know sort of the November and December period, there was some times when you could line the dates up and you would have 7 games for certain teams, and that's when you could really maximize value. Because if we take one of these guys here, so let's just take Yassine Benu and overwrite this and say if he had 6 games instead of 4, we're just going to make sure these are all calculated correctly, and that's coming up through. So he's now got 6 games, 0.3, should have 2 clean sheets, and then you've still got some profit there. So again, if we increase all of these guys to 6 for a second, just to prove the point, so if we put all of these guys up to 6 games, you can see you're starting to get a bit more return there, 4 or 5p's. So it's something how you can think about it and look at it, but it also sort of demonstrates that you have to be really careful with this goals, assists, clean sheets, because it's not necessarily its own little profit device. You're talking about very slim margins, and if the player's price drops, you might be hit there. So bear that all in mind and look at what you can see and where you can add value. But that's how I'd go about doing some analysis on this. What else do I want to say about this? So we've covered the slim returns. Now, the other thing you might want to do is combine this with, say, some more advanced PB analysis. So say if you've used the Martis data file to find yourself a player. Now, you could then use this to see what kind of returns you might get out some G&A in that first month to help you decide which of those players you might want to buy if you've got a limited budget. You've narrowed it down to 2 players. You want to decide one's got a lot more games this month than the other one and a higher goal ratio, so maybe you go for that player over the other player. It's just another way to help you separate out which players you want to buy. So that's all it was, guys. So let me know what you think as usual, and thanks.